All set up here. So amazing how settled that sheep is. Welcome back. Glorious day today. We're working with lambs with the shepherd's mate out on trial. So today we're going to be using it with dosing, vaccinating, weighing, bolusing and clicking all our lambs in this particular batch using the shepherd's mate. We're going to give it a go. It might be a possible option for our new handling system. Let's have a look. Now that's the gates off it here. So the next job is just to let it down on the axle here. There's a little hydraulic pump here. We'll just do that now. That's it. Easy as that. So I have Andy here from Shepherd's Mate, just show me how to set it up. So that's the ramp just folded down. These panels clip in here next. Non-return flaps here, work on gravity. Can't beat that.
This is a new anti-backing gate.
Yeah.
Simple but effective.
Yeah. Right, we have our Heptavac P set up here, just in one of the kids' old hoodie. I have a cold pack here because it is extremely hot. Well, for us anyway, it must be 25 degrees today, Robbie, would it?
I think it is and more.
Nice and chilled. Don't want this stuff getting warm. So this is my new injector. Actually a couple of these on the shop if you're interested. They are a good sturdy injector. So Heptavac P covers the lambs for clostridial bacteria. Since lambing, I'd say I've found 3 dead lambs out in the field, which you would say died of no obvious causes. It's not hunger, just it's almost like they've died in their sleep, and there's a good chance that is clostridial bacteria. So this is the first of 2 vaccines for that. So I'll get set up for that now. So we have 4 jobs to do. We are using Clik, which is blowfly protection. We're using the Heptavac P. We are bolusing the lambs here as well. We're just doing some experimental work here with a True Test Animax Trace Sure bolus. I've never actually bolused lambs before, so we're just giving them a go to see if we can solve these scabby ears. You might have seen them last year. So we're dosing here as well with albendazole. That is for the nematodirus. We're probably a bit late, about a week late for that job, doing them for that, but better late than never. Some of them are a wee bit dirty. You might have seen that when we were getting them in there. Not an easy job to get them in. You seen that, Robbie? It's good crack. Never an easy job getting young lambs
it's
in.
like parishioners leaving mass.
Yeah. So this is the first time I have ever used this Shepherd's Mate. It seems like a nice piece of equipment. We would give it a go. All we are doing today is letting our ewes run through, and we're just going to do the wee job with the lambs. So we'll see how it goes. So they let the sheep and lambs in here. There's a little bar here with your toe. So you just lift that bar like that, and that lifts this front gate forward. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show you that, but that basically opens that, lets the sheep through. Give them a bit of a run here through. Now, so you'll see some of these lambs are quite dirty. I was a little bit nervous that it may be coccidiosis. I believe it's busy enough this year with the stress of maybe a bad spring, but I never really had a problem with cocci, thankfully, not that I know of. No, but it always does show up on a fecal leg sample, low positive, generally always shows up. I think it's always around, it just depends how bad it gets. But I believe, I would guess that is nematovirus showing its ugly head, so the white drench should cover that. But we're getting on well here. We have all these done here. We have them clicked, dosed, vaccinated, a bOLUS. We're rattling away nicely. This is just a cheap and cheerful white drench, but it's all it takes to clear up that nematovirus. Only useful this time of year, of no use pretty much any other time of the year, except maybe for adult fluke in sheep in late spring. It'll clear them out.
Come on, little fella. Push that.
Clik Extra, so that is maggot or blowfly protection for 19 weeks, and it works exceptionally well. Now, so we've got our first 50 done, and we know that because we're using 50 dose packs at the back here. So, not getting on too bad. First impressions, 50 lambs through it. Wasn't that convinced at the start, but getting the hang of it now. Actually not a bad machine. I had kind of written it off for lighter lambs, but these lambs are probably a week or 10 days late getting their nematovirus strength. So they are 20 kilos, 25 kilos. It's not too bad, it's actually working okay. Now, so you'll see a lamb just coming into the race here. This lad really is a bag of bones. You can see the bones sticking out here, and his back bone, don't jump out. So I have it open here just to give you a look. So I am going to bring that lamb home. I'll stick him in with the pet lambs because that lamb's not going to do anything. Either mammy is dead, which there was a couple of dead sheep I pulled off this bit of ground earlier on, or mammy just has no milk, or she's had mastitis or something, or a mismothering, I'm not sure. But that lamb is coming home. There's no point in me leaving that lamb here. It'll never amount to anything. So bring them home, let them get a bit of creep with the pet lambs. They're weaned now at this stage, so we can divert them off. I'll give you a look at that in a minute, but I'll get the few jobs done with them here. So just going to divert this lamb, if he doesn't divert them. Put a wee mark on him. I'll do him with Clik here. So with the Clik, I'm just coming up the way from the back. And the shoulders are usually the place I find more maggots. Just going to divert this lamb in here. See how that goes. This is first time using the diverter. Yeah, not too bad. Push them on there. Happy days. Now, so we have this whole batch here done, getting on well. The sun is moving out rightly. We started about here. So we're just bringing, this is the last few here to do. Give these boys a hand. Now, so we've just tightened them up into a bit of a pen here, not to give them the full access to this long pen. Right. Robbie, how are you finding the anti-backing gate?
Very good, actually.
Yeah? You're not working too bad, is it?
Not too bad.
giving a good test here now.
Yeah.
I soon have to put one on you, please.
Going past it.
Chop, chop.
So 26 kilo lamb in the scales. You'll just see the difference in handling this lad. You'll see, squeeze them in, get a nice height. No problem bolusing this lad. Get the click going next. I was a little bit nervous of this squeeze flap. And you see it's fully open, and some of the lambs did actually jump out front and back, and the lambs can turn around as well. So I found a solution, this rope and a clamp here, and I just left it tightened in a little bit tighter. So you're able to narrow it in, keeps it tight, and when you're letting the ewe run through, it's very easy just to pull the rope and let your sheep on through. You happy, Robbie? So you saw the fields that they came off, there wasn't much grass. We're just going to let them in here, better grass in here. Keep these going the right direction. These are a maternal breed, they're purebred Clik lambs. Let me know what you think of them, it'd be great to hear from you. So possibly a missed opportunity there. A lamb with a sore foot should have been through a foot bar. That is the dose and done with this machine. A very good machine. Maybe not the best machine in the world for that first job in lambs, but definitely better than a long race, which I would have done lambs in before. Definitely better. Very good the way you can make this adjustment here for your lambs. You can tighten them up. It's not an ideal squeeze because it's a little bit wide for lambs. Maybe a bit of room for improvement in that, but it definitely makes it easier. Getting one lamb in at a time. False, I found the weight a little bit iffy. If a lamb was lying up against the back gate or front gate, there was a discrepancy in the weight. I didn't see that in some of the other handlers where there's no obstructions, would say, to cause any differences in the weight. So that's a minor thing, but it was just a case of getting used to scanning the lamb's tag when he wasn't touching her front or back gate. So it's really down to the operator, I suppose, to get used to that. But gonna try something different. This device, the Shepherd's Mate, is probably best known for its rollover crate, where you can flick a sheep out. I've 7 or 8 more sheep. Those Suffolk sheep that you might have seen Carl sharing in that sharing video where we shared the hoggets. We are going to get them in here. I have a bit of Heptovac P left over. We're going to give that to, that was Fergal, my neighbour that was helping me. A little bit of Heptovac P left. Going to give it to him. He's only 8 sheep. So you might as well use it up on them. They're due a booster now at this stage. So gonna stick on this rollover. So this squeeze is adjustable and it just pops out of these holes here, and then you can lift it out altogether. So just pops out of those holes here and you can lift it out of the frame here altogether. So this is the rollover device here. It's quite a simple thing with a few bungees on it. We'll see if I'm able to put it on. Now, so it drops in there like that, and I would imagine these pins go back in here. So I have never actually used this before, but we'll see. I think we're getting on okay. So that is the rollover fixed back in. Actually easy enough to do that. I've never done that before. Pretty straightforward. So we shall see what it is like to flip over sheep. We'll try these Suffolk hoggets. We'll see what it's like. Here's these Suffolk hoggets coming now. Head. Oh, there you go. You're away now. Lovely job. Go on. Yeah. Now I've never used it before, so this is all trial and error stuff. We'll see how it goes. Not bad at all. Now that is a very good little operation. So amazing how settled that sheep is. She's quite relaxed here. I can't move. That's probably a major positive of this machine, is the rollover on it. It's a very good system and easy to use. Very good access for feet. It'll be interesting to see what it's like to put it back up. I've never done that either, but definitely settled. This sheep is very settled. If you wanted to do any pairing, we'll try and get her flicked over here and see how that goes. Not bad. Very easy to do that. So not using the squeeze here with the rollover fitted, and we'll see the sheep have a bit more room in it, but still easy enough to inject them. We're just going to try this rollover once more and see what it's like with a different feet. See, was the first attempt just a fluke? We'll find out. Not bad at all. Very useful. If you're doing it with feet, this is definitely a good machine for that job. Feet, nice height for working at. Sheep are very settled and quite easy to use it too. This is the last Suffolk sheep in. Going to do one more rollover because I do not turn over sheep. I don't pair any feet, but look, I know some breeds are more prone to foot problems and people have to do it. So this is a good look at the shepherd's mate rollover frame here. Easy as that. Right. Turn it back over. Easy enough. Now, I nabbed two men. You might have seen Fergal here. He was helping me. Just kind of nabbed him by chance. He made the unfortunate mistake of stepping into the pen when we were busy at
Yes.
and he got nabbed into a job. So fair play to you. Thanks for your help.
Couldn't beat it.
Now, in exchange, you see me there. They are actually his Suffolk hoggets. So I had a bit of Heptaback P left over and Clik. So that is your
payment for today.
Yeah, payment. Well, it's PP, part payment.
Part payment.
Yeah, and this is Fergal's young man, Kian. Yeah. We'll give it a thumbs up, will we?
Definitely, yeah.
Good machine.
For big sheep, yeah.
Yeah, for big sheep, probably lambs. Very hard to get a handler that will do that first job with lambs, but for big sheep, the rollover is impressive.
The whole lot is.
Yeah, the rollover is definitely an impressive operation. Now, this is a couple of days later. we're just out on another wee job. I've finished those lambs. It run on a bit late. We didn't have much time for chatting. But really, it's not really a lamb handling device. It's more for older sheep. So I want to just show you, maybe I have a wee job to do with these hogget rams here. We clipped these since the last video. Carlo's here from YouTube. You might have seen that last week. So I just want to show you it in action, maybe with the forcing pen set up, and we'll get a look at it here in action with some bigger sheep and maybe doing some work with the bigger sheep. I'm going to bolus them and click them today. We'll have a look at that. So just probably worth mentioning is the amount of gates that's actually on this unit. You'll see them there. The 16 8-foot gates, plus all the gates, curved gates for the forcing pen as well, and some V gates inside here for the ramp as well. So there's quite a load of stuff on it. Now we get this thing set up, we'll speed it up, and you can have a look at the operation of setting up this forcing pen. Now, so this is it all set up here. Just showing it set up, ready to get rams in. So really what I want to show you today is the forcing pen set up. It's probably one of the best features of this machine is the forcing pen and the rollover crate. So we'll get these sheep in. Now, you saw us getting them in, not too much hardship for a change. They can be tricky enough to handle, but not too bad. We got them in all right. So with them in a bit of a pen here, really what I just want to show you here today is this forcing pen and how that works for loading the race. It's kind of a curved setup here with a tight radius curve there, and this gate swings around, but we'll give you a look at that in a second. I'm just going to load it here. I'll get a couple of jobs done with the sheep and we'll show you it in action. Come on. Go on. Go on. So a couple of jobs I want to do with these boys today. I want to bolus them. I'm giving them an Animax bolus. First time I've ever used them. I know I have a problem with cobalt on the farm, so I'm just going to see, will it improve the scabby ears that I'm having? We're going to try them out and see. I've never used boluses in older sheep before, only in lambs. It's not a job I particularly like doing. There we go. Fluke dose as well. And the next job, the other job I want to do with these is Clik. They've been shorn and they're probably okay for 3-4 weeks, but you might have remembered in my video last September when I was selling rams, one of them had maggots on his flank and he just didn't look great in the sales ring. So the couple of quid to Clik them, I think is money well spent. Plus it means I don't have to look at them every day as well. I'm pretty confident in Clik. So just open this here. So on this three-way drafting, so I can let them out that way, I can let them out to the right, if he wants to go to the right, which is fair enough. Or you can go straight on as well. You can let them on straight on like that. So we have a foot bath set up here as well. Not using the foot bath today. Probably should be foot bathing, but I don't do that terribly much foot bathing. They're pretty good sheep on the feet anyway, so I do. Not saying avoid it, but I just seem to get away with it for now anyway. So the flaps are set down very low in the race here, so it's actually not really stopping the rams from coming back. I'm just going to lift them up a wee bit here. A couple of wing nuts here just for tightening them into position. Quite easy to adjust the height of them. And you'll see the work on gravity. It's a good system. Some of them work on springs, but these are actually working on gravity. But we'll see how the sheep flow in it. Come on. So I'm just giving them the bOLUS first, and then going in with the fluke dose and kind of hoping that the dose will wash the bolus down. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments what you do yourselves, how you make sure the boluses stay down. Let me know, it'll be great to hear from you. Extremely pricey stuff this year. I think it's 30 or 40 quid a bottle more than it was last year, but I've made the decision to use it again, and for the simple reason I just don't get to check my stock every day. I'm just too busy working away off farm. So this stuff I can pretty much guarantee I'll have no maggots when I use this stuff. I think it works out, would it be almost €2 a sheep for these bigger sheep? It's around €2 per head, but money well spent. So into the footpath here, if we were footpathing. I'm not actually footpathing, probably a missed opportunity, but I don't see any sore feet in these boys. But the wee foam lad in the footpath is a good job. Last year I done one torturous day footpathing lambs and I had no foam thing in the footpath, and it was the toughest day I done at sheep all year. Now to let this lad out, I can pull my guillotine gate and out we go. Handy enough. And if I want to leave it open, that will clip up here. It's a handy enough system there. It's simple with the rope, but it works. Now, so that's me using the squeeze here, and the rubber belting in the squeeze is actually quite grippy, because you'll notice there when I was clicking the last ram, I opened the back gate to get access to the back end, and the sheep was trying to move back but wasn't fitted. The grip was holding on pretty tight. It's pretty grippy stuff. So bolusing older sheep is not something I really enjoy doing. But it's actually quite easy here. I was dreading it, but it's going okay. Especially these stronger boys. So, on some of the crates that come to mind, one is the combi crate, combi clamp I should call it. It's a foot treadle, so you press the foot treadle and it clamps your sheep. The collar crate, for example, is one where the floor drops down when you push the rack in. This particular one is worked, you just lean up against it, and it's a rope here with a kind of a locking device here for the rope. You can just shove your sheep into it, and the sheep is quite secure there. It's actually quite good. I wasn't convinced on the squeeze until I started using it. I'm finding it quite good here. It's taken all the movement out of the sheep here. It's leaving this job kind of handy enough now, especially with these strong rams. They can be powerful enough. So the bolusing is going surprisingly well. I find my own race, which you probably would have seen me using in several videos, mainly for fluke dosing older sheep. That's probably what it's mostly used for. I find the long race, very simple for fluke dosing. You can fly down a batch of sheep. But to take on a job like bolusing like this is pure hardship in a race, because the sheep have so much movement. The bit of a squeeze here is definitely taking a lot of the power out of the sheep, so it's not a bad job. I'd be very happy with that. So you'll see there's a bit more spare free place starting to show up in the inside in the forcing pen here. So if I move the rams up, I can tighten them up here and relash in here. It means they've left space for kind of beating me inside the pen. So I'm just opening the back gate here to apply the click on the back end, because the squeeze is actually holding the sheep. He's trying to push back, but he's not fit to. The rubber and the squeeze is actually restricting him from coming back. So it's quite handy to get access in here. Right, so we have our forcing pen empty here. I'll just give you a look at the way this works now. The idea is that you lift this gate, slides over, and it comes back in behind the sheep. We'll see it working now. Yep. Now the flow is a little bit slow, but I think it's my own fault. I'm messing around with a front gate and a back gate, and I've never actually used the squeeze before, so I was a little bit nervous that I wouldn't be able to stop the sheep. But surprisingly enough, it's very easy to stop the sheep. Little bit of a shove and the grip on the rubber is enough to stop them. And when I'm doing that, the flow is much better. I can let my sheep out and catch them here with the squeeze. We'll give you a look at it. Come on. So just a wee bit nervous that the squeeze wouldn't hold the sheep, but it's no problem. It's well fit to hold these rams. Come on. Now, so you'll see the flow is actually working much better this way, and I've no gate in the way to be opening and closing for the click as well. So squeeze is pretty good. It's working well here. So probably just worth mentioning, the flow is much better not using the gate. But if I want to weigh my sheep, the problem with using the squeeze is you're not getting an accurate reading, because the squeeze is independent of the floor platform. So you actually have to use the gates to get an accurate weight. So I'll just give you a look at that. You have to release the sheep off the squeeze to get a weight. So my clock was reading 61 kilos. When he's independent and standing on the platform, not touching it, 72 kilos there. So you're not getting an accurate weight using the squeeze. So that's probably when you will have to use your gates. But for the work I'm doing, bOLUS, drench and Clik, the squeeze is working well. Come on. I had mentioned, just kind of let that get out so he's not making noise. So since filming that piece of doing the work with the lambs, I had mentioned to the lads that the squeeze was a little bit trickier. It did work and worked well for the 20 to 25 kilo lambs, but anything smaller I found they were a bit too far away. You were leaning in here and it was quite hard on the back. So the lads have made up this little panel here that's kind of retrofitted into the crate here, and it's actually working very well with my rams. I thought it might restrict the movement of the rams in, because you'd see it's restricting a bit of space, but it's easy enough to lift in. Slots into these holes down here and here. But it's just a pity we're not going to be doing any lambs today, but I have no doubt it will be a vast improvement on using just the squeeze on its own. But it's solving a problem here with these rams. As you see, my sheep wouldn't be the biggest sheep in the world. They can have a lot of room in this equipment, but it is holding these boys pretty well, and they can be flighty enough at times. The other change they've made is this bar, this hanging bar here for hanging the backpack. So here's another wee modification as well. It's a little spot for sticking your gun into, very useful. So this is the shearing bar that's available. That is useful for hanging the Clik bottle on as well, and it's actually hanging down there. I thought something useful might be somewhere to stick this, but it doesn't need it. It's hanging there and it's not actually in the way. So those couple of modifications have definitely improved things. So another one worth mentioning here is the shearing pole here. There's actually a shearing flap for this machine. 2 men can shear off it. You have a front pole and a back pole, 2 stations, and the sheep for both men comes out of the flap here in the middle. It might be useful for some people that's into that game, maybe a bit of contract dosing and shearing as well. So there we go, you have a pole front and back for hanging the shears off as well. Another wee feature which isn't on a lot of handling systems is a nice table here for sitting stuff on, because you're always going to have a tin of spray, your bOLUS gun, your bOLUSes, you're going to have your reader and so on and so forth. So those little tables there are a nice wee feature. All in all, a very, very, very good machine. Very impressed with it. I didn't really know what to expect with it, but I am very impressed with it. It's a good machine. Let me know in the comments what you make of it. And anybody that has one, drop me a line in the comments what you make of it, how you find it. It'd be great to hear from you. But that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.